Hey guys, it's Tahera Rene from Filter Free with Tahera Rene Christy. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me tell you about it. It's free, first of all. We like free. And it's a creation tool that allows you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. And Anchor will actually distribute your podcast for you so you can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many, many more platforms. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need in a podcast all in one place. But right now you got to go download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Do it now. Go. Hello everybody. Welcome to another episode of Filter Free with Tahera Rene Christy. It is November 30th of 2020 and normally I do not date my episodes, but I want to make it very well known that we are at the very end of an epic year. I think 2020 has been a great year for everyone, and it has been one of the most exciting, chaotic, surprising, difficult, productive years of my life, and I wanted to share with you all that has happened. I've literally been on a hiatus from recording for quite some time just because I've just been so busy with life. I'm finally on a walk where I can focus, walk, and present with all of you to talk about this year and some of the uncomfortable what I've learned overall. Supporting his president and usher in some level of sanity. I'm happy about that. But personally, this year has been very focused. And the goals that I've written down for myself from last year have really come to fruition. I write goals every year. I modify them every year, but goals have been triumphant and amazing. I was grateful for that. Having started a new business, that's kind of taken a lot of money. Amazing. They're all pretty well in school considering difficult not to be around friends and being quarantined. My marriage is amazing. My life is good. I had a surgery recently that has been changing my life and for the better and giving me new perspective on better health. I've done several television spots and I've had a lot of fun. I've traveled. I mean, during this pandemic, I went to Hawaii, I went to Cancun, I went to the Virgin Islands, I've been to Vegas several times. I've just been living my life and healthy. Or in a very long time, in succession, continuously. And the one thing that I can attest to that success in... I love it. I love that I'm recording a podcast and I get called sexy lady in the middle of it. Here, Okay, I had to pause for a second. I saw my neighbor and she catcalled me. It's really cute. So anyhow, where was I? What was I talking about? I was talking about 2020 and what I've learned from 2020. 2020 has been a year of vision, right? Of focus, laser focus on what's most important. And when we all were going into 2020, celebrating the new year and figuring out what was going to be most important, what we were going to focus on and what the vision was going to be, it was very grandiose for a lot of us. And an issue that affected all of us suddenly threw so many people off track and didn't allow for them to carry out their dreams and carry out their vision because it wasn't foreseen. It was an unknown, it was a variable that was not factored into the equation of success, and therefore people just dismissed the whole year, ate cookies and cake and bread, got fat, and got over themselves. And I get it. I totally get it. No judgment, full empathy, full disclosure. Hell, I went through many episodes of that myself. But the one thing that I can say that has kept me through this year is my creativity and my passion to support other people. I mean, I was able to volunteer for one of my favorite organizations and work with women in rehabs. I was able to do a Zoom meeting with some of the women from the homeless shelters that I go and speak to. And we made it work. Like, I wasn't able to be there physically with them, but I gave them the same level of energy as I would if I were physically with them. You know, I'm finishing up my 4th book. You know, starting my business was amazing. And I released an album, for God's sake. Finally, my first ever after 40 years. Finally did that for myself. 40, so, you know, but I'm well on my way to doing my 2nd. And my creativity has, and we all have that. We all have some level of that. Some of us don't tap into it, or we're inconfident about our abilities, and therefore we don't share. But your creativity, your outlet, your output, whatever it is, make a tutorial. But on a bad day, she'd come out of her room with cat eyes. All right, cool. If it makes you happy, you like it, I love it. You know what I mean? Whatever's keeping you and sustaining you. And we've gotten some great meals. Like one day, my other twin, she decided she wanted to make brioche bread buns and, you know, sliders, and made a whole meal, like fresh fries. It was like In-N-Out 2.0. Like, that was her outlet, was baking and cooking for the family of 6, which is amazing. And, you know, preparing her for life on top of being educational and fun. My husband's, you know, a producer, and he draws, and he's drawn all kinds of murals, and we've done sip and paint here at home. We've just found ways to connect with one another, or with ourselves, so that we have outlets for pain or frustration, rather than just eating it away, or complaining it away, or Facebooking it. Something cool that we then can sell. My other daughter has, she's been sewing, which is nice. She's made so many garment hats and shirts and pants and friendship bracelets, like so many garments. And I'm like, sis, you need an Etsy account. Let's go ahead and get your entrepreneurial on. So 2020 has still been a year of focus, of vision. But why you write the vision, you got to make it plain. It doesn't have to be so elaborate. You don't need an LLC right away, or an EIN number. You don't need to establish your business in the stock market. Just start, whatever it is. Get a name, or just make the product. No, you can just name this company X. Start, right? That you have something to some goal to chase after, and you're not there. And then therefore we're going to create a workshop for evil to settle in and give you negative thoughts that lead you the path of destruction. I did a recent talk. I'll call them Tahera talks because I don't know Tay. Anyhow, and the subject was soothing yourself. And I love talking about self-soothing because so many people don't realize the power in their own self-soothe. We all have the power and ability to soothe ourselves. We were given that ability by nature, and we all had opportunities to test it out as babies when our parents gave us, you know, a pacifier or a bottle, or we sucked our thumb or our whole hand. We found ways. The waiting that was involved with getting our diaper changed, or getting food, or being cold. You cried, right? Cry out. Cry out sometimes. We say something crazy on Facebook and everybody worry about us, when really what you're saying is, I'm trying to communicate, I'm hurt, I'm sad, I'm frustrated, I'm angry, somebody hear me. But as we grow and we mature, we've got to find more responsible ways of letting people know that we're in pain. 2020 has truly been a year of pain for a lot of people. I've experienced quite a bit of death myself from very, very close friends. baby cries, and I've got 4 kids, so obviously there's a lot of crying in my life. In the beginning, my first child, there was pacifiers was literally everywhere. I think I discovered my son's last pacifier was my last child. They're 13 years old. I still had it. I had it tucked away somewhere, and I was like, wow, this is really a long time. Pacifiers everywhere, bottles, blanket, change the diaper. What's the problem? Just to cry, to feel that you need to feel, And you let the baby cry, eventually the baby's going to find its hand or its tongue or a blankie or a toy or something to satisfy itself. It doesn't always necessarily need you. If you've checked all the boxes and all the needs have been supplied, then you can't assume that the baby's always going to need something extra. Sometimes the baby just wants acknowledgement or what you've given it consistently and repeatedly. And now it's become accustomed to that behavior pattern. So that it's a need. Sometimes it's a want. Sometimes as adults, we need that soothing comfort of someone saying, now, they're there. Okay, sis, I'm sorry that happened. It's going to be all right. But the reality is, acknowledgement, because we either have to receive it or really want it, but that doesn't equate doing the work with self-care. That really is a lot of times our parents didn't do a good job of acknowledging us, and so then we seek out that acknowledgement from other people or outside of ourselves, and then we're constantly letting ourselves, buying up flashy cars, all the extras that make us feel like we're acknowledged because it's official. We think that it's real, and it's constantly needed because it's not real. And it's a backtrack to what you actually want, which is that self-soothe. So sometimes you just gotta try it out sis, by yourself until you find the happiness that you're looking for. So my best advice would be to really focus on finding your own thumb. And then to the point where once you're able to choose with something that you provided for yourself, you don't need to see. You just need to understand that this is a moment that is difficult and that it will pass. And allow it and make it support so that you're not needing acknowledgement for things that aren't important. Now, of course, but that's when you reach out. You know what I'm saying? Stuff that you can't handle for yourself. You got a bad diagnosis, for your life, or your health, or something like that. Or someone's passed away and you need a hug. Those are reasons to reach out to people. You just don't have your job. Difficult. Those are real life circumstances that, support or a ear or advice from someone or a hug, those are things that are necessary. But if it's like, oh my God, I got a hangnail, oh my God, things within your have to be in that room. Flip your nails. You got things you can do for yourself so that your life is good. I've said it many times, like my life looks really good online. And I keep it that way because all of my problems just did not need to be on display. And maybe 15 years ago, that wasn't the case. That's all out there. And while I'm still an open book, I'm not saying I'm sure anything for anybody. You ask me a question, I'm willing to answer it. I'm not looking for acknowledgement, empathy, understanding, sympathy, or clout from anybody. I really don't care. I'm so secure with who I am, what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. I understand my purpose. And I'm really to put me on game as to me. I got it, That's what 40 would do for you, I guess. It really did activate in a mighty way. But I'm saying that it doesn't have to take that long for you to feel comforted by your existence, because you're here for your specific purpose and it's perfect, and you don't need anybody else's acknowledgement. You can take care of yourself And that's a really positive thing. So let's move on to another this year has been for many of us, and what we can do to set ourselves up for success for 2021. It's kind of nice that we start our year every year, that we follow Western year, the Chinese New Year. Whenever you restart, whenever you decide to reinvent yourself, there are some things that have to die with the old year, or that old self, that old version of you. Things that you did the year before, you can't do the following year. Let's break that down by tradition and consistency and things that are ongoing. Things are good, that are positive, productive, they're fruitful, they're producing results that you can be proud of, that make sense for your life. Keep doing those things. But if there are things that you acknowledge that you'd like to shift, you'd like to pivot on because they're not working for you, or they're causing you pain, or you're not seeing the vision materialize in a way that makes sense for you, those are the things that you want to shock your system and provide some new perspective so that you can do something different going forward. The reason why so many people fail at, let's just say, dieting, hop on a diet, got in their minds, we're going to do this for 21 days, 30 days, we're going to shift our diet, no more carbs, we're going to work out every day, we're going to drink all the water in the world, and then 2 days into it, you eat a piece of chocolate. It's because we have not allowed our minds to wrap themselves around deprivation. To deprive yourself of something you want doesn't feel good. And the older you get, the harder that is. The older we get, we develop more and more vices. It's just inevitable, and that's everybody. And it would seem that, the older you get, the more comfortable you get. But you have to balance that, right? Because as you go toward retirement, for you, your life should feel a little bit easier. You should feel a little more progressive. You settle in your life. You actually have to be more vigilant. It's like, okay, it's like I can do whatever I want, but no, you can't, right? Because you're older, your body's older, it's been through a lot, and it can't handle everything that a kid when you're 20 or 40, when you're 65, for example. You got to have less salt. You can't eat as much. You can't stay up as long. You got to go to bed a little bit earlier. And that's our body's way of showing us that we have to deprive ourselves of some of the things that we enjoy in our youth. And so the same applies when you're trying to switch up things to do something different, in your life, whatever your goal may be. So, I'm 40, I'm always trying to get to the next level physically. Seems like that's like my life's theme. It's like, okay, what diet are you going on now, sis? And my doctor broke it down to me last year and said, look, you just got to start. I was like, what? When he said that, at first, of course, my first reaction was what I just said, what? My second reaction was, okay, because I've never had anybody say it like that. Nobody's broken it down just like that. And he was the coolest dude, like just the nicest dude. But very direct. He wasn't playing no games. He wasn't here to deal with all my excuses and reasons why I can't deprive myself. Straight up, sis, you need to start. Because that's the only way you set yourself to do what you're trying to do with your life. Every other diet and exercise, what is the first thing they say? Keep eating how you want to eat. Just take this pill. Or you can eat what you want, but just do this exercise. You can. Okay. They're trying to lure you into a false sense of reality, saying that your mind doesn't have to change. Just buy our program, and we'll make it work for you. And those are complete and utter and total lies. Something has to give. You've got to give up something to get something. It doesn't, you can't have your cake and eat it too. That is probably the most profound statement I've heard in my lifetime, because it's so simple. The visual is there. You can't have the cake. You can have the cake, but you're gonna be fat if you eat it too. You can eat the cake, but you can't have it all. Like you have to give up something, right? In order to shift, in order to change and grow into what you think your vision, your goal should be. And so I use dieting as the easiest thing, because most people are always on a diet. Most women are always on a diet. You gotta start, whether that's starving yourself on TV. Sometimes it's starving yourself of extra sleep. Sometimes it's starving yourself of that bad that is no good for you. Because you're not all the time and doing sometimes it's starving yourself of places you used to go, or friends you used to hang out with. You gotta release yourself from whatever it is that's taking your attention. When I started my business, I did not spend a lot of time with anyone. I literally 15 hours a day plus, really plus, like a lot of marketing in the middle of the night. I was just focused on recipes, focused on learning more about my discipline, focused on cooking everything and making everything and labeling everything and shipping things off. Like, it was a dance that I did with myself, and I didn't sleep, and I had to study, and I worked really hard to shift from not having a job to creating a business. It was amazing, and still is amazing. I'm grateful for it. But there was so much I had to give up. Like, I didn't talk to anybody, I didn't call anybody, I wasn't hanging out, I wasn't posting anything, like, except for my business. I was focused on the vision. And it was simple. Make this stuff, advertise it so people like it, get people to write reviews about it, boom, you're in business. So just know that some things have to shift for you. You have to deprive yourself for you to find success in whatever you're trying to grow, whatever you're trying to make happen for yourself. You have to visualize what you want it to be. So now moving forward to 2021, what are your goals? What do you want to see shift? What's your focus? Where do you see yourself financially, spiritually, mentally, physically? Who's a part of that plan? Who doesn't need to be a part of that? All of those things need to be considered for you to find success and more. You've got to make the plan for yourself. But just know that whatever your vision is, it has to be plain, it has to be concise, it has to be predictable and scalable. Like, you have to be able to say, on this day, at these times, I'm going to do this. You've got to have goals, mini goals that lead to bigger goals, etc., etc. But just know that whatever it is, just start. Just start. Because the plan can come along with the execution. A lot of times we wait to execute because we're waiting for the plan to materialize and the development. And some of us really just love those intricacies. But my husband always tells me, and our kids, hustle beats talent any day. Hustle will beat talent any day. And we see that all the time because we know there are plenty of singers out there, and I had one in my head, and I'm not going to say her name, that's rude. Plenty of singers out there that can't sing a lick, can barely dance, child. They look good, they're great in marketing, they sell themselves, and they have bigger and better careers than way more talented artists. Why? Because hustle is talent. You're in the studio all day, every day, making it happen. You're going to get more likes, more clicks, more shares, more clout than the next performer that has twice as much talent as you. So, just do it. Just start. Hustle hard. Do what you need to get your goals that you have for yourself. And 2021 can be the most successful year of your life. And guess what? We still got 31 more days left in 2020. You honestly have time to shift. If 2020 has been not the best year for you, you can make it the best year. You still got time. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You can salvage the month remaining in this year to do something, something that kickstarts you into next year. And that's probably my best advice of this segment, is really focusing on what you can do. Because there's lots you can't. We can't control presidents. We can't control viruses. We can't control our friends, our family. We can't control the weather. We can't control a lot. But what we can control is what we do with the effort and the energy and the power that we were born with, that we possess, the thoughts that we have in our mind. We can control what we do with them, how we manifest them, how we choose to make them real. That is one of my superpowers, is when I think something, first of all, I write it down. If I thought it was good, I have lots of thoughts. Some of them you don't want to be in my head. God bless me. I need to cleanse myself with holy water sometimes. But the thoughts that are good, that I can see a future for, I write them down. And if they're good enough, I make them happen. Like, it's not a question. It's going to happen, period, point blank. I just go for it. I'm not afraid to fail, like, at all. And I failed a lot. And I was recently talking to one of my friends, and people have a hard time introducing me. Like, there's so many things they could say about me. And, oh, she's a singer. She's an actress. She's a songwriter. She's a comedian. She's, an entrepreneur, an author, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's so many ways that you can introduce Tahera Rene Christy. And she was mentioning to me, my friend, that, I've gone through many career changes. And what's funny is, because so many of my public personas have been that of entertainment, that's typically how people introduce me. But what people really don't know, because I don't really talk about it, I've been in corporate sales for almost 20 years. I mean, I've had professional jobs in between my side hustles that took precedence, because I'd rather talk about what I'm doing than whatever I was selling for whatever major company I was selling it for. But I had a career in corporate sales for literally 20 years, and nobody talks about that at all. And yeah, I went through many different jobs because I was trying to feed my family, quite frankly. It wasn't my purpose, but you got to do what you got to do when you have children. And I was a single mom for half of that. So a lot of people didn't know how to speak about me. And I say all that to say, you are in control of how you define you, and therefore how people define you. There's so much about me that is just unknown. I love it because when I got married, so many people I just thought you were going to have a 50-foot veil. I thought that your dress would go halfway down the aisle. I thought this would just be so grandiose. And most of the nuances I had in my wedding were so simple and elegant and classy and classic. And because they know my public persona, they assumed that Diva Tahera was going to play out in my wedding. I'm like, all right, I'm not a diva in real life. I just play one on TV. So it's interesting how people can perceive you, but you know what you want to put out there. And if you don't know you, that's the work. Figure out who you are, how you want to be defined, how you want people to see you, and make that happen. For me, for you, that is what 2021 is all about, and the rest of 2020. Start defining yourself through your actions, through your behaviors, through your work, your labor, Help people to see you for who you are. Not because you need validation from anybody for anything, but because it's easier for you to see yourself that way if you're not confident about who you actually are. And I'm to the point where you can see me however you want to see me. I really don't care, because I'm going to be just like I am, regardless. Love it, like it, hate it, whatever it is. Honey, this is me. This is what it is. You get what you get. Some people love it, some people hate it, and I'm cool with it. Sorry, I got to jog up this hill real quick. Too fat for this. But I think the whole point is define you. Do you. Focus on your brand. Your brand is everything. And 2021 is really going to be all about moving forward. Next level. What is next? What are you going to do to make this past season, because that's all it was a season, a distant memory? What did you learn from it? What are you going to take from what you learned from it in order to shift it into something new? How are you going to redefine yourself in order for the people around you to see you for the light that you were born with and destined to shine upon this world? These are all questions that you should definitely ask yourself, reflect upon, and know that you are capable. And I'm proud of you, first of all, for getting through this whole podcast and going on my walk with me as I reflect on 2020 and look forward to 2021. In 2021, I look forward to growing my business. I want to double my business, if not triple it. I've got several things in the works to let that happen. I'm really excited about it. I look forward to traveling next year. I know the Rona is still around, and I may not get the first or second or third vaccination, but the fourth or fifth, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But I look forward to health and happiness. I look forward to connecting with friends and family. I look forward to growing. I look forward to just being spiritually sound and my chakras being illuminately aligned and in perfect peace with one another. I look forward to hitting my weight loss goals. That's exciting. I just look forward to love, like showing love. I recently got a chance to love on some people that in person, which was really nice. I didn't get to hug or anything, but just show kindness. It was really like I miss that. I miss the ministry of giving in person and showing grace in person. So I look forward to just doing that and just being present with other people and letting my light shine, helping people and just having fun. Make 2021 your best year if 2020 wasn't, because you still have that opportunity. So anyhow, I'm just rambling at this point. I love you all. I love you so much. And I pray prosperity and peace and happiness in this upcoming holiday season for you and throughout the next year and going forward. And I look forward to my next episode of Filter Free with Tahera Rene Christy. I've got some great things I'll be revealing, and yeah, all good, all fun. You have a beautiful rest of your day. God bless you.